Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. I'll have to apologize when I'm talking for clearing my throat, coughing. I might go into coughing fits as well, just for the fun of it. But we had a great work party after the meal today for several hours, cleaning up Santi Vihara, and I didn't realize, or I didn't think how much dust there was going to be there, sort of. And but we, because it's been, it's not been finalled yet, but it's close enough that what's left that the county didn't final is a couple small external things, so where we can get it all ready for occupation or using, or at least get it cleaned up and looking neat and tidy. So that's what we did today. It was lovely to be doing that. Also, just to be working together. But it was dusty. I've been contemplating just the I mean, one, of course, is very, very ordinary, and it's something that I've known for almost 50 years, anicca, dukkha, anatta, but just realizing or recognizing or reflecting on how important it is to keep bringing the mind back to seeing from that perspective, seeing from that, seeing things in that light, and seeing the impermanent, unsatisfactory, non-self nature of all things, and just as in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, because that's the crux of the discourse on not self, is that seeing the basis of our identity and what we identify with, and where we put our kind of hopes and whatever into this body and mind, and just seeing just that impermanent, changing, uncertain nature, its unsatisfactory, and painful nature, and when that's the case, and whether it's coarse or refined, internal, external, near or far, it just has to be that way. It's not, and it's not to try to convince oneself of that, because that's just the way things are anyway. It's to be able to reflect from that perspective and gain through that one gains a certain agility of mind and agility of heart that isn't bound by the expectation of how one wants things to be, how one thinks how they should be, or how one is worried that they're going to be. This is the way things. This is the way things truly are, and as there is that kind of agility of looking and recognizing and seeing that clearly, then there's a natural stepping back from the impulse to create a self identification around the phenomena of existence. So it's just such a necessary piece of the insight process, and one needs to be quite say patient and accepting of this is the way things truly are, and when one seeing with wisdom that there is a disenchantment, a dispassion, and and it's hard to convey the because when you think, okay, there's disenchantment, dispassion, kind of a letting go or relinquishment, it's easy to think that there's one is sort of that there is some kind of negative perception of things or feeling towards how this is, but the reality is what it does is finally open up some space in the heart to really experience a sense of ease and brightness and well-being, because there isn't those agendas of self going on, which are sort of based on wishful thinking and a misapprehension of truth and reality, so that there's one is really opening up space for a real well-being and ease. So there's these recollections of anicca, dukkha, anatta are one is easing into a sense of confidence and clarity and certainty of, oh, this is the way things truly are. And one of the images that comes to mind is one that Ajahn talks about of the like the contemplations of anicca, dukkha, anatta are kind of like the shore of a lake or the sea, where the waves sort of come in either in it can be quite still sometimes, but it's still there's some movement of the water. Or sometimes there's small waves lapping at the shore. Sometimes there's big waves coming in and hitting the shore. But the it's the waves, the water that keep kind of changing and they come up against it, and the shore is there. It's a steady presence that is there, and it's always there to receive the waves, whether they're big or small, whether the water is rough or smooth or whatever. It's there to receive it. In the same way that sense, that truth of anicca, dukkha, anatta is there to receive all of the phenomena of our likes, our dislikes, our fears, our worries, our excitement, it's there to receive it, and it's just that way. There's a steadiness there. There's a solidity, a stability, and that's where the quality of real peace is not just in a state of mind, or even an intellectual thought of analysis. Oh, it's anicca, dukkha, anatta, and think yourself into something. It has to be seen, has to be understood, it has to be deeply held and realized, made real. So in terms of practice, we do all sorts of different practices. We reflect from different perspectives. Of course, with the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta that we recited, that's picking up the theme of the five aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness. And this is these are the aggregates of being that we can look at as a way of viewing our experience through the lens of physical form, of feeling, pleasant, painful, neutral, perception, of the memory, recognition, the different mental formations of whether they're wise or foolish thoughts or moods. They're just mental formations, and consciousness itself, the act of cognizing through the senses, and it's a way of looking at experience. But then when you look at it, reflect on it, and really pay attention, you say, yeah, it really is in each aspect of experience is impermanent. It is changing. It is shifting and moving. It's fluid. And when something is fluid and shifting and changing and uncertain and really, really impermanent, say, well, okay, is this something that is, is it something to really think, oh, this is going to be a source of permanent well-being and security for me? Well, it's just impossible. So something that's impossible to give security and certainty. I mean, that's when in the sutta, when the translation is painful, and it's sort of, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, it's painful in the sense that it's a real pain when things are dissolving and shifting and changing and are just sort of slipping through your fingers all the time. Your ability to have any kind of certainty as to is this going to, well, how's it going to manifest? What's it going to be like? Can I rely on this? So that's the aspect of dukkha, this unsatisfactory nature. And what is unsatisfying is painful. This, and then the Buddha just makes that extension of assumption of, well, that which is impermanent, uncertain, changing, painful, unreliable, unsatisfactory. Is that worth calling? This is me. This is what I am. This is myself. That's kind of foolish. So it's just recognizing, because our mind will jump through all sorts of hoops of weird logic, just to try to create certainty in our life. So just this sense of paying attention and reflecting, investigating, allowing that contemplation of these universal characteristics. Again, this sense of it creates space for being able to see things in their true nature, and that's the heart understands. The mind will, as I say, our mind will jump through all sorts of hoops of weird logic just to try to create something that is reliable or makes sense to us. But there is a deeper level of our being, and of course, which is what the Thai forest masters just call citta, just call mind, a fundamental mind. And the ability just to know, and it's that the knowing of this fundamental truth. That's where the refuge is. So it's returning to this quality of knowing, but it's using that directing of attention, paying attention to anicca, dukkha, anatta, and it's not. And you have to be careful, because you can think, well, if I just overwhelm my mind with thinking about anicca, dukkha, anatta, then somehow it'll I'll finally get it. But it's not like that. You keep turning attention and priming the mind, allowing the heart to feel. Well, what's it like to let go? What's it like to see from that perspective? And certainly the seeing the limitations of things, limitations of form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness, or say, as we're say now in our readings, we're starting to move into the six sense bases, and you can apply the same thing, same logic or same perspectives from our six sense bases. That's how we experience the world through the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and through our experience of sight, sound, smells, taste, touch, and our mental world. And again, seeing through that all of that is anicca, it is dukkha, it is anatta, and that is the fundamental truth. But it's all, as I say, it's a truth that brings one to a place of stability. Say on a logical basis, you think, oh, it's going to depress me or shake me up, but it's when you realize, oh, just seeing the true nature of things is what brings one to a place of peace. So we use this tool to be able to support our practice, and it is this feeling of disenchantment that is important, a sense of a certain weariness. There's in one of the chants that we do, verses on the three characteristics. That's actually, when it talks about impermanent or all conditioned things, dukkha are all conditioned things, anatta are all things. But then when this is seen with wisdom, one feels weary of all dukkha. You feel it's just, I've been doing this for a long time, and if one thinks in terms of the, say, the Buddhist worldview, it's not just from this physical birth to one physical death that one has been doing this, but lifetime after lifetime, many lifetimes. This wandering on through the experience of dukkha, and one feels weary, and that one is seeking a place of refuge, and truth is really the only refuge, and it's what the Buddha. I think that's the beauty of the Buddha's teaching, is that he brings it back to fundamental truths that are truly liberating, and so to be able to turn our attention to these just our ordinary experience. It's through the seeing of this body mind in its true nature, seeing the form, feeling, perceptions, mental formations, consciousness in their true nature, seeing sight, sound, smells, taste, touch, mental events as seeing them in their true nature. That is when it's seen and brought into the heart, open-anicca, leading it into the heart, this true perception, that is liberating. The heart is willing to release, because we'll desperately grasp onto any delusion just out of habit, and that it is a habit to keep suffering. It is a habit to keep creating dukkha. It's a habit to keep being reborn, and to be able to, is like that, seeing the limitations of that through reflecting on anicca, dukkha, anatta. That we can finally be willing to relinquish this habit of responding through greed, hatred, delusion. The habit of responding through desire and clinging. And it's a very, very natural process. And I think that's where there's somewhere like Lupa Cha as an example, as a teacher. His teaching was always based on the fundamental teachings, but his love of the Dhamma and his joy in truth was really apparent, and it's important to recognize that these reflections on fundamental truths. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, not self, actually are a basis for happiness and well-being, for real peace and stability of heart. But it's not trying to convince the mind or force the mind. What you're doing is trying to show clearly that how limiting it is to be caught in those delusions, and how freeing it is to bring the mind back to the fundamental root of what the Buddha's insight is there for. So my throat is sore, my mind is blank, so I think I'll end it right there.